and welcome back to a Skyrim 10 AD, and this is episode 19, I believe, on session 6, the last episode here we're doing tonight. And last we left off, our Trebigan had just taken care of a rather nasty bandit chief who managed to knock down one of the party members before he was taken down in a joint effort by Luke and Butty, dealing some serious damage. Looked like he was just about to bleed out when Luke decided to use one of his cantrips, Spare the Dying, to stop him from bleeding out and dying. Now this enemy, who we have learned his name is Broto, is somebody from Luke's past. And he's now lying unconscious, tied, and gagged, did we say?
Yep.
Tied and gagged on the floor. And our party have spoken with Lenil, who has told them that his Anarchy is still has still been captured and is still in danger and is in the clutches of the boss. And nobody has any information so far on who the boss is. So they have found a map on Broto's body, and it seems to be leading to the other side of Falkreath. And so the party have decided to take a long rest here before heading out in the morning with their package and heading back to Falkreath to deliver Broto to the authorities.
So, what about the Nightshade? Now, if we're going to go, since this letter, we're going to assume that the boss is probably where Anarchy is. So the best guess is to go on the map where it says here. Are we going to want to bring Nightshade with us? Do we have some? Is there some in Helgen here, stored, ready to go?
So I had Colin with the alchemical proficiency, and I would assume. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily know where it is, but I like types of environments and where it's most likely to be found.
Yeah, you actually know, because they would be growing mostly by graves.
Right, and it mentions. I'll just mention to Luke that it's the letter mentions Falkreath and the cemetery. I believe it alludes to the cemetery in Falkreath. So if we're dropping Broto off there, we can probably pick some up if you can recognize it.
So I'll feel pretty confident about being able to find some if there is any to be found once we get there.
Okay.
Good take, Mouse. Agree. We should find some.
We'll need a quote shit ton of it, unquote. Oh, sorry. All right, so we're headed back down the road to Falkreath, same way we came.
Yeah, actually, could I get? Let's see, who's taking watch? Would need to be 3 people for everybody, for all 4 of you to get or 5 of you, 6, to get a long rest. 3 people are going to have to stand watch through the night, and I believe Mouse said he was going to take the first watch.
Mm-hmm. I did.
So if you want to make a perception check, please.
That was a Hindu. And that 20.
Nice.
As you're sitting there, you're looking down, getting your camp out, and you don't see any eyes moving, but you see some wriggling coming from Broto's position. And you see straining of muscles. Slide, but you do not see any eye movement, and no mouth. The mouth doesn't open. Well, you can't see the mouth, but You see the chest fall down very nice and slowly, and then you see some straining muscles, and both in the legs and in the arms.
Okay.
Nothing seems to happen.
And that's the end of my watch.
Yeah, it happens a few times, but it assumes with a 4 he wasn't able to break his restraint. Who's going to take the next watch?
I'll take second watch. And during my second watch, I as I sort of like quietly patrol the camp and everything, I make a very specific point every circuit of the camp. Every time I come anywhere near, I make sure to stop by, take a look at Brodo, make sure his gag is in place. I don't want to hear any shit from that piece of shit, and make sure all of his ropes are well tied. And if he gives me any lip, I cloud him with the handle end of my warhammer.
As you approach, and as you're the only one in heavy armor, it's quite easy to discern that you are the one who's approaching. As you're standing quite close to him and checking to him, the eyes spring open and look directly at you into your face. And his gag is over his mouth, and it blocks his face like that, but you can tell from the crinkles of his eyes that he's smiling.
I can handle his smiles.
Okay, so we'll now roll a perception check for me, please, Pat.
Alrighty. Ooh, that's not very good at all. That's like a 5.
Okay, so that's pretty much all you see that night. And next watch, who's up for the final watch?
I don't think Requai can handle her quite yet. I'll step up and
Okay, so
watch.
you get up and sort of like spring around, and you're having a look again at the what seems to be the skeleton of the corpse in like kind of now looks like a in the sort of like candlelight and stuff. It's like a really nice statue, but looking at it does seem like a horrific sight. The skeleton's mouth is open, and it looks as if, and the two skeleton hands with the index and the middle, their finger next to the little finger and the middle finger are crossed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pointing outwards, and if they're having a look at it, is a horrific sight, and seems like it must have been a very horrific way to die. Go around, roll a perception check for me, please.
Okay. I just get there. 13 plus wisdom is 2, so 15.
So you have a look around, and sort of like, you look around and see Roger's still there. He's actually still asleep. You hear some light snoring from him, and he kind of like rolls onto his side. And you guys still leave him next to the running water.
Oh yeah.
We have his head propped up on a rock so that if he moves too much, we can just kick the rock out.
Or just move it and put it on top of his head instead of underneath it. Yeah.
So, so let's. Oh crap! I dropped my die. Let's give him sorry, I've totally forgotten. A Constitution save to see if he can get a good night's sleep in his position.
We're not too worried if he can't.
Yeah.
Oh no!
If he can, let's move him.
No, so he rolls an 8. So he does not get a full night's rest. It is really bad. He barely gets any rest, so he only regains. So it's 8 hours, and I believe he regains 1 hit point an hour. So he only regains 8 hit points, and has not had a full rest. So he's still in bad condition. His wounds some of them are still kind of open. They're not bleeding. They're starting to seal over, but they're not completely gone, and they're not completely healed. So yeah, he's looking at it's still in bad shape when all of you guys wake up the next morning. And what would you like to do?
Well, I guess we need to find a way to get him mobile, but still restrained well.
Cart anywhere?
No, I think we need to make him walk. Otherwise, we're going to expend a lot of energy, and it'll take longer.
So Luke doesn't have a sword or a dagger or anything, but I feel confident he's got a skinning knife or something because he's a farmer, and like, and Luke will say, yeah, he'll walk or he'll feel this in his throat, and it legitimately is his choice at this point.
Make an intimidation check.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. That's intimidation is plus what?
Charisma.
Plus charisma. Let's see. What's charisma? That's an 11.
Yeah. Broto starts humming. Actually, make an intelligence check, Botty.
Intelligence is okay. +2.
Oh, and you too, Mouse.
7 + 2 is 9.
And I have, let's see, 14.
Oh yeah, Mouse. He's humming Ragnar the Red.
I hate that song.
He starts. If you say that out loud, he starts humming it even louder.
No, I just mutter it under my breath.
I'm not saying I would do this as Luke, but Mouse, if he said that to me, I would just totally kick him in the balls. But it's up to you. It's completely up to you. It's
No. I'm just gonna concentrate on getting him to Falkreath without any more incidents.
Yeah. Yeah. So Luke's goal would be to get him to Falkreath. Get him like once or twice a day. Get him a drink of water and a crust of bread. But other than that, that's Luke will like literally frog march him with a knife in his back if that's what it takes.
The minute you take off the mask, the gag to give him something to drink, the first words out of his mouth is he's looking past you and looking at everybody else. He's gonna kill you all, just like he killed his friend before. That was the great. He's looking at Drago, and he goes, "That was the happiest accident of my life."
No,
At this point, I've got a cup of water or something. I pour it in his face and put the gag right back in.
Mouse tries to catch his eye and just looks at him with a stony, cold stare.
He starts humming again.
And Mouse does not look away.
So, what would you like to do? Lineal is up with you. He's go ahead.
I was going to say, Body asks if he happens to know the Dragonborn comes.
Now Mouse rolls his eyes and just walks away.
When you say this, Lineal turns around and looks at you, and he goes, "Oh no, he was waiting for him. He wanted him to come. That's why he was here."
Come back a second time.
Well, he said that he'd send anybody to oblivion that he found here and that's what Broto said he wanted to do. He said he wanted.
He wanted to go to Oblivion.
Yeah, he said he wanted to go and serve her in Oblivion.
Well, I hope to help that process. I'd love to see that happen.
He's kind of humming's paused, and then it starts up again.
Lineal, why? Do you know why he wants to go to Oblivion?
He just said that he wanted to serve her. He didn't say anything who it was. He said he wanted to serve her in Oblivion.
Serve her
instead of here.
Do you know who this her is?
He just said her. He didn't say anything. I didn't want to listen to much of what he said though.
Yeah, I understand. I look over at Luke, raise my eyebrows.
Yeah. So what is? Does Luke? Do we get a sense that when you say Oblivion, it's a capital O Oblivion, like something meaningful?
Yeah.
All right. So Luke will do whatever. He'll search his memory, religion, insight, history, whatever it would take, just to get a sense of Oblivion. What does this mean?
And who is she?
Yeah. Luke will sort of rack his brains, because he's trying to make a connection here.
You know that there's a roll a history check. You're not going to find out who this person is, but
just sort of a general. All right, so not very good. Although he's pretty good at history. Let's see. Let's see. Sorry, history check. That is 12.
12? Yeah, you know enough. Probably all of you, probably save for Jaquai, would probably have heard about sort of like Daedric princes. Probably know of all of them, actually. You know all their names, but the in-depth. So there's a few that seems to cross over between male and female. Some of them are called Daedric princes, and sometimes their class is seen as female. Sometimes they're seen as male. So there's some that are declared as the good Daedra, like Meridia, but there's also like the bad ones, like Boethia, can be claimed as so, and was it Mephala, and things like that. So you don't really know what they're all about, and with your role, judging from what Broto's done, it doesn't seem like it honors a particular Daedric prince to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I guess it's time to get on the road, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jaquai's finished with his meditation, so he's got his key back.
And he's finished cleaning himself and talking for a while or two.
Yeah. The water's there, so you can all clean the blood off your armor and stuff, like try and get it out of your robes. There's still patches here and there.
And he makes sure that Brodo's looking at him when he does a standing front flip.
and Mouse makes a great show of presenting daggers back to Jaquai in front of him.
Oh, that's the thing. Did you pick up and take all of his weapons and his daggers, or have you just thrown them to one side?
I was just interested in Jaquai's things. I really wasn't that interested in his weapons.
Does it got a bow?
He doesn't have a bow. He has a scimitar, and having a look through, he has 27 daggers.
Jeez.
I think they're throwing daggers, right?
Yeah, they're not all sort of like, full-size daggers. They're small, similar to what could be, but they have enough weight behind them that could be considered daggers. But they're not all of them well made. Some of them look like they're handmade, beaten out. But yeah, you find 27 daggers. What could be constituted as daggers?
Good lord.
Mouse isn't particularly interested. Is Jaquai? I mean,
I already have a dagger. I'm okay on daggers.
These are more like throwing knives, right?
Kind of, yeah.
So Jaquai will take them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so put that in your inventory. You've got all 27 throwing daggers. Actually, make it 20, because... no, 25, because I think he threw 5 or 6, and then he missed.
Yeah, he totaled 3 that he threw.
Yeah, so make that 25.
So, I don't know where they are, but before we leave here, I'm gonna get a long stick or something and probe the river and try to set off any other bear traps. I'm not going to remove them or anything else. I'm just going to try to set them off from a distance so that they're tripped and won't snag anybody else.
Yeah, so as you're heading out, which way are you going? Are you going back the way you came? Or if you have a look again on Roll20, if you head this way, you do see that it leads down to a tunnel that seems to lead into a cave. Are you heading off that way, or are you heading back the way you came?
My inclination would be to go back the way we came because we know it's a safe way.
Yeah.
We don't know what's down in the cave.
Yes. Yep, I agree.
Did you guys follow them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Unless Dequire Body feels strongly the other way, I would definitely agree with Mouse. Let's go out the safe way.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, so make let's see, an investigation check as you're looking around with your stick, looking around to check to see if all these traps.
Alrighty.
you can just drag his body through the water.
Yeah. I'd say investigation is intelligence.
I believe so, yes.
19.
19, yeah. So you see one here that somehow you all avoided.
Wow. I
And,
wondered about that.
and you see, as you're heading out towards, you see another one there.
Ah.
And you set both of them off as you're walking past, so none of you are in any danger of getting to
Yeah.
them. And then you head back out and out the way you came, heading off to the exterior of Helgen Keep. So,
All right.
as you're heading out and you're heading back, you're heading back down the road that you came up from, heading back to Falkreath.
Yes.
Okay, and
Should we shout and see if Hamming's still out here?
you can if you want.
He had a particular interest in wiping these guys out. Maybe he could take him back to the authorities for us. But it wouldn't do for me to ask him.
You get the kind of feeling that Hamming is not an authority kind of guy. He definitely gave you the impression that guards and him don't sit well. Towns and him don't sit well. So, you guys
Hence Jaquai's idea to see if he could take care of this for us.
So, a few things. What's the marching order here as you're heading down the road?
Well, Mouse will take the point.
Take point. And who is and where is looking after and what position is Broto in?
Well,
go ahead, Mouse.
Well, no, I was just going to ask if we can enlist Lenny's help in controlling Broto.
I'm not comfortable with that. I'd rather
Lenny, sort of like, you instantly look at the definitely fear in his eyes when you ask.
No, I'll hold Broto's leash. So the way I envision is Broto is literally wearing nothing but like. So what is it cold? What's the time of year?
Yeah, I mean it's Skyrim. It's always fucking cold, so you're probably looking around about 10 degrees or something like that.
Is Broto a Nord or what is he? An Imperial?
No, he's an Imperial. Yeah.
Okay, well, good, perfect. So I take pleasure in making sure that he is wearing nothing but a loincloth and the rope. His hands are he's gagged. His hands are tied behind his back. I've got a rope attached to his hands, and I'll give him the courtesy of some boots. So he's wearing a loincloth and boots, and that's what he's wearing. And I will carry the rope. I'll walk behind him carrying the rope.
So you're behind him,
and I'm behind him, and I would say he's somewhere in the middle. So I would be somewhere in the middle of the marching order. Mouse in front, and I'm in the middle, and I'll let Jaquai and Body sort themselves out however they want to.
Yeah, Jaquai will walk right alongside Broto too, just to make sure that nothing goes awry.
Okay.
Lenny is with us too, right?
Yeah. Lenny
Yeah.
is walking behind.
I hand Lenny a drum and I play a flute just to entertain us as we walk.
And I give Body the good big thumbs up. Good thinking there. Give him something to do with his hands. Nice thinking.
So can I have you to do a performance check, please, Body? And Leniel is going to do the same.
Let's see. Performance
Drums
is charisma, which is a +3. So total 15.
15. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's okay, but the only problem is that it's drowned out by the huge hands of Lineal banging on that drum. It is a cacophonous boom every time he hits that thing, and he seems to have been able to cup his hand just at the right way, just so when it bangs it together.
So you're saying his last name is Pert, like so Neil Pert, right? Okay.
No Dave Grohl. Yeah.
Yeah, he's about as tall as Dave Grohl. Good point. Yeah.
So heading down, we'll have Mouse make a perception. Perception. No, sorry, survival check. Sorry.
Survival. The survival is wisdom, so 16.
16. Okay, and let's see. Can I have Luke make a, say, 3 perception checks? You too, Jaquai, seeing as you're going to be walking alongside him as well.
All right. First check for me is really shitty. It's a 6. Second one is that's shit. Hang on. That's either hang on. Second one is a 12, and third one for me. So 6, 12, and 18.
Okay.
And how many are we supposed to roll?
3.
Okay, so my first one is 14. 20.
Nice.
And 12.
On the halfway through the day, as you're walking along, Jaquai, you see ever so slightly that every once in a while, when somebody's off looking at the trees or stuff like following the road or stuff like, talking amongst yourselves, you notice that Broto seems to be shimmying his shoulders from side to side. and his hands behind his back while Luke is off looking to one side. He seems to be sort of like moving, like lifting up one side of his shoulders and then back down again, and his hands are moving like that. You ever look down at the bottom? Was it a natural 20 or a total of 20 with
Total of
modifiers?
20.
12. Yeah, so you can see him sort of like every once in a while just shifting his shoulder from side to side when he thinks nobody's looking. So with a roll of 16, Mouse, you find a nice place to camp. It's off in the trees. You manage to get yourself some cover, so there's no sort of like what should we call it? Nobody's getting rained on. It's a nice flat surface, so you can all make camp for that night. And it rolls on. So we'll say that for the purposes of sort of like just moving along, because it's just going to be a series of these sort of checks. Just make 3 more survival checks, Luke. Sorry, not you, Mouse. Make
Survival checks.
So Colin, but as we're bedding down for the night, and I go over and I make sure the ropes on, and while we're sleeping, I tie Frodo's feet and his hands and hog tie him and make sure he's his gag, and I whisper in his ear so that no one else can hear, but he can hear. I could say, "You may have escaped the Imperials, but you're not going to escape the justice of Kinarath, you fucker!" I kick him in the back.
Well, and Mouse has more rope, so we could tie him to a tree if you like. We can hog tie him and just tie him right to a tree too.
To or from?
So as you're looking down and you're going down to like re-secure the ropes or add more ropes, you can see that where you have wrapped the rope around, 2 of the rings that were wrapped around his waist are now past the fingertips. He's been slowly working the things, but you notice it.
And when I see that, I take 2 of his fingers and I break them both. I just crush them. Absolutely crush one finger in each hand.
Oh,
absolutely. I grind them to powder with my full strength.
Roll a strength check, please.
Not very good. Only a 7.
7. You crush them and you think you've broken them.
Yeah.
There's sort of like you hear some like crunching of bone, and sort of like they definitely start looking a little bit purple, and you do hear from underneath the gag.
Kinarath is merciful, but only to those who deserve it.
And Jaquai reminds Luke not to break his thumbs.
No. These are index fingers. All right, index fingers in both cases. Yeah.
All right. So you want me to roll 3 survival?
Yeah, to get you back to full breathe, and
so that's 16 and 8. Yike. And 8.
Are we camping in the rain again?
Probably.
On the last day, you is. And because of his broken fingers, he's rolling at disadvantage, which is lucky because on the second night he got a natural 20. So you get back, and although there is some times where it looks like, and every time you get back and try and set up camp, you have a look at the ropes, and the ropes are sort of like starting to fray around the wrist. All around the wrists now, there is like serious rope burns, even getting down to the point where they're starting to produce like a little bit of the white blood coming through from underneath, like getting into serious bad burns. But you get all the way back and you see Falkreath off in the distance, and he's still under your prisoner as you head back towards the gates of Falkreath. We didn't mention it, but just heading back, you did pick up all the bottles of skooma.
Mm-hmm.
pick them all up, put them in your bag. So let's just say you have.
I think so. Mal suggested to me when he and I were speaking privately, that I would control. So if nobody stopped me, I would take all 15 bottles, put all of them in my pouch or backpack or whatever, and as we're marching along, once a day I would give
it's only 5 days.
Once a day for 5 days, I would give Lenny one of the bottles to take a dose from.
Yeah. So
I thought a dose lasted 5 days.
I thought I read it as a bottle, right?
Yeah, a bottle lasts for 5 days.
Okay.
So a bottle has.
He
5
said once a day.
doses
He's got to take it once a day. Is what he was very clear about that.
Looking at him, and he absolutely hates it. And his eyes go like really bright and really wide, and it makes his head all fuzzy. And you have to stop while after he's taking it, sort of like stop. But he dies, and he sort of like he just goes on and he goes like saying stuff like anarchy. I'm gonna come. We're coming, anarchy. And he goes the Winter Warrior's coming for you. He's gonna save you again.
And every time Lenny. Each day when Lenny takes that dose of skooma, I cast a bless spell on him.
Okay.
So every day I use that spell slot and cast a bless on Lenny as he's taking the dose of skooma.
Yeah, and he feels a whole lot better, and he sort of like gives you a big smile, and sort of like he's starting to. He never is too far away. He's never more than 10 foot away from Luke at any given time. He sort of like seems to be walking in his shadow at all times.
And Luke totally encourages that. His first priority is Lenny. His second priority is making sure that the Brodo is not going to get away from justice. So,
yeah, awesome. So you guys you're now approaching, looking down as you approach the gate, and you see 2 guards standing outside as you're heading down towards the gate of Falkreath, and immediately looking up at you as you're walking down with your naked prisoner covered in ropes. The guards draw their swords and start to slowly, they're not rushing you, walking up, and they recognize you, and they're saying, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Who's this?"
Well, since I'm in front, I'm going to say this is your skooma dealer.
Is that right? Where did you find that piece of shit?
In Helgen.
You gotta be crazy to go into Helgen. Nobody goes there anymore. What kind of lunatic would want to spend their time in there? And he goes, "Right, come with us." Excuse me, sorry guys. "Right, come with me." And he suddenly goes, he goes, "Stay here, Frank. Let's head back." So he's put his sword away, and he's leading you down into Falkreath, and he's heading towards the jail. What do you guys do?
Well, I guess I'm going to step aside and let Luke lead.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, no, I'm not letting go of this rope until he's in a jail cell. But I'll prod. Continue to prod him along.
As you're prodding him along, the guard sort of like hurry over, and he goes, "Yeah, bring him here." So he heads off down, and he heads in, and he looks as you coming in, enter. You walk past the sawmill, and you see the rather large Nord with red hair looking down at you from the mill, sort of like looking as he sees you walk past, and you head around. The Jarl's longhouse come up, and you see 2 more guards standing there, and sort of like at a start looking at you and looking at the state that you're in, and with your 2 new companions. And the guard ahead of you, he just says, and he goes, "Apparently they've got a skooma dealer." And he goes, "Go tell Nenya and the Jarl." And he goes, "I'm going to take him, and we're going to get him put down into the jail." And then he leads you off to the jail at the back, past. And as you walk past, you see the sign on the local store to the right, which is grave concoctions, which is the alchemist, and then further on is just the jail, and you head in there, and down the stairs. The guard sort of like lets the other guards that are inside, the jailers inside, and he tosses them into the nearest cell, which is not the one that Lanil was in, but the nearest open cell, and just throws them inside. And he goes, "You're going to have to go and talk to the Jarl about this." And he goes, "Oh, we all trust you with all the help you guys give him, but you better go and speak to the Jarl, because walking in as you did is just going to send tongues a wagging all over town."
And I'll say to the guard, and I'll point to Brodo. Said, "This filth has escaped from the Imperials once. Nord justice is much better than Imperial justice, but make sure you don't lose track of him." And I give him a kick in the ass on the way out.
And he goes, "No worry, kinsman." He goes, "This one's definitely not getting out of my sight." So you head back outside of the jail, and the guard leads in. He's heading back towards his shift at the front gate. And he goes, "You better go and talk to the Jarl. They probably definitely wants to see you."
And at this point, I take Lenny and I say, Lenny, I just sort of put my arm around his shoulder, like up, like stand on tiptoe. Put my arm around his shoulder because he's such a fucking giant. And I say, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And then I lead him along to follow the guard to the Jarl's longhouse.
Okay. So you all enter the longhouse?
Bodney decides to peel off and go over to the graveyard to write a song and compose some poetry while leaning up against a gravestone like she is wont to do sometimes.
Oh, nice.
And maybe
you're so
see if she can find some nightshade over there by the graveyard.
Such an emo.
Okay.
I'll go in with Luke and Jaquai if he's coming.
Okay. Quiet.
Yeah, Jaguar will go in.
So you all three of you head inside, and sort of like, and Lanil follows you in. And Butty, you sort of like take a stroll off, and you just say like, "Oh, guys, I'm gonna just head off," and you head off over to the graveyard. Which try not to imagine the actual Skyrim graveyard. It's quite a big graveyard.
Oh, okay.
So when you get there, you look around, and it's sort of like graves for quite a long while, and there's quite a few hundred here. And you heard them talking about sort of like Nightshade. Roll. Let's see, a survival check to see if you recognize Nightshade.
Okay, let's see. Survival is wisdom, which is +2, and 11 total 13.
13. Yeah, it's purplish bluish. You have a look around. Actually, roll an investigation check as you're walking among the gravestones.
Okay, let's see. Investigation is intelligence +2, so we'll do 7 + 2 is 9.
7. As you're walking around, the only thing you don't see any flowers, or any sort of like purple flower or anything like that. But what you do see is a few, like near the ones that you've been to. It seems to be some plants that have had their heads cut off.
Ooh.
So you have a quick look around, and as the first quarter, so you see there is some plants there, but it seems like somebody has come along and cut their head off of the actual plant.
Take note.
So heading back to the Jarl's Longhouse, you three gentlemen step into the Longhouse, and up on the chair you see which is you see the Jarl, and you recognize him, Mouse, Sidgear, and you see his housecarl standing beside him as well, and you also see is it Nenya? Sorry, I just after losing all my bloody things. So yes, it's Nenya. So you see Halvard, Jarl Sidgear, and Nenya, and they're all having a discussion with the guard that was previously standing outside the front of the longhouse, who was told to tell him that you've caught the skooma dealer or skooma peddler, and you all walk in with Lenil. And Nenya turns around and goes, "Oh, friends, you're back so soon." And he goes, "We've just heard that you came in with a prisoner, and you say he's a skooma dealer, or the skooma dealer."
He is a skooma dealer, not the skooma dealer.
Oh dear. But you've taken him to the barracks. I believe he's locked up. And the guard says, "Yes, they were heading that way as I came in."
Yes, but lady, he has a long history of traffic with this vile drug. Please keep him under careful lock and key. When I last saw him many years ago, he was in the custody of an Imperial troop, but somehow managed to escape. He should meet justice.
Oh. And he goes, where did you find him?"
I'll look to Mouse.
We found him in Helgen, down in the depths of the keep.
Oh, that's reminiscent. That brings back days of when first Helgen fell. It was nearly every other month a new bandit group seemed to take over that keep, but none in past few years. It's strange. They must have been mad to set up camp in there.
There seems to be a curse on it.
Yeah. Really? And you say this is not the skooma dealer. You did the leader escape, or some of them escaped?
We think there is another.
And then the Jarl looks over, and at this point you see that he's kind of still sort of like, a nice return and stuff like that, but definitely a lot sober than the last time you saw him. He's over and he goes, And he goes, "Right. So. And then you're sort of like, it looks like she wants to say something, but she doesn't. I've seen his Sidgear is sort of like pondering, and he goes, well, something must be done." And he's stroking his chin, and he looks at you, Mouse, and very slowly he goes, "This is a very dire situation." He goes, "And you seem to have aided Falkreath in the past." And he goes, "And you have a line on this other that you may be able to get rid of this other, or the cause, the boss, as they say."
Mouse bows his head very slightly and says, "Yes, my Jarl. We believe we know where he is."
Wow. He kind of looks you up and down for a second, Luke, and then he turns back to Mouse and he goes, "You've been in Falkreath for on numerous occasions, I believe, in and out.
Mouse nods.
He goes, you've traveled Skyrim some, have you? Do you currently know the political situation since the war ended in the other holds?
Not as well as I might like.
So you wouldn't happen to know who is currently the presiding over the great hold of Riften, who its current leadership is?
Would Mouse know?
Yeah, after the Civil War, if the Imperials had taken over, who takes over as Jarl, you know that it's...
Well, it stays. What's her name? Does it not? If the Imperials...
No. Yeah, if the Imperials have control of Riften, it's Maven Black.
It's Maven, that's right. Okay, yeah.
And you do know.
So I would tell him that it's Maven, but it seems, why wouldn't he already know that?
But he goes, no, he seems like, you know who is currently the...
Yes.
And he goes, And he goes, now, what... Just a hypothetical question. What would you think if the Queen Bee herself found out that a new... And he sort of like puts his head down, new skooma dealer had set up shop in Riften, in Falkreath, and the Jarl of Falkreath did nothing to end this? What do you suppose would happen to our trade lines after our friends, and he points to you, Jaquai, we have had a misunderstanding with the traders of the Khajiit? And what do you think that the Queen Bee would do if she found out that a skooma operation was allowed to be set up shop in Falkreath and the Jarl did nothing about it? And you know Maven Blackbriar's reputation.
I wouldn't think it would go very well, but we have started to do something about it, have we not?
Yes, you certainly have. You and your friends have certainly done so. He goes, but I myself, I seem to be a little late to the party. However, I do recall our last meeting of when I asked you a few months ago to maybe procure some specialists, some, I don't know, warriors for hire, to be able to handle the situation and to head across the border into our friends to the south to put together a little team to try and root out this these ne'er-do-wells that have taken up within my hold, and set you off to discover the identity and put an end to this vile operation, for which you will be handsomely rewarded and paid for. Am I remembering correctly?
Mouse remains silent.
And he turns around to Ninja and he goes, when the Imperials left, we got a few other draft horses, if I recall, that we weren't putting to good use. They just seem to be running out. They're not riding horses as such, but they seem to be well suited for slow travel along the roads. But Ninya, there's something I wanted to check. Could you bring me the tax records of how much tax and from who we've collected in the past few years? I believe I need to check to see the last time certain individuals had paid their taxes. And then he looks back to you, gentlemen.
And
So are you going to give us all Falkreath t-shirts?
And he goes, of a sort. And I mean, you can... it's not that I couldn't hire the companions. It's just that, I thought this... somebody with a more deft hand would be better suited. And that's why I sought the help of young Rat here to head out to sort of like get some specialists in who know how to deal with these people. And he managed to put together the and he sort of like opened his hands and managed to put together I don't know what you would call yourselves, but don't pick the companions that's already taken. But it would certainly be in your best interests and mine and Falkreath. Excuse me. If we could all come to an arrangement.
Mouse says, I think that could be managed. And he looks over at Luke and Jaquai.
Yeah. I give a curt nod.
I have a reason for being in Skyrim, and I still need to remain true to that.
And as you're saying this, he goes, great rewards and being a good friend to the whole of Falkreath means that you're a good friend to my friends, which could open some doors to whatever you decide your name is going to be. It could open some doors that were otherwise closed to you.
All right, well, I can appreciate that. Guys, I think we should go with Def Leppard.
I prefer Queens of the Stone Age, frankly.
Remarkable. Wow, it's good to find you in good humor. And he turns to Helbard. He goes, could you head out to Glick and tell him to ready... He looks over to Nenya, who's coming out with this rather large journal, and he goes, oh, don't worry, we won't be needing that anymore. Can you head it to, like, and he goes, there was a woman with you, a young elf, I believe. And then he goes, yes, Botty, I don't see her. Is Botty okay? She has to return with you. Is she okay?
She's fine. She's just writing a song.
I look forward to hearing it. And he goes, could you go and tell Glick to ready, 4 or 5 horses? He's looking over at the rather large, although maybe a bear is in order.
Do you have 5 horses, sir?
And he goes, and he looks over at Halvard, and Halvard gives a slow nod. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, there ain't much to look at, and they're not very fast. But, yeah, we've got 5 that we can spare. He goes, if you really, and he's looking at Sigurd, he goes, if you really want to do this. And he goes, and he looks up at him, and he goes, sort of like with a long sigh, and he goes, we can't afford not to.
All right.
So we have a deal then, yes?
And Mouse is going to look at him squarely in the eye and say, and what's in it for us?
Well, the horses that I just mentioned are
Horses are a means
yours,
to end, sir.
and at the completion of the terms, they are yours to keep. If, however, you don't complete or finish out the terms of the agreement, those horses will be considered stolen, I'm afraid. But you said you were heading there anyway, and you had no equivocation of completing said task and getting rid. And in future, whenever questioned or anybody asks about this situation, you will be sure to inform them that I, Jarl Siggeir, requested your help and gave you the means to be able to put together this team.
We need some guarantee because we have a very important errand in Whiterun. As soon as we complete this mission, that we need to go to Whiterun first before coming back here to let you know. Will you accept that?
And may I ask, what's in Whiterun?
No, sir. That is our business.
Well, you have a period with how long it takes to get to Falkirk. Nenya, sorry. How long would it take if somebody had found out and sent message to Riften? How long would it take somebody to get back here? And she has to think about it. You're probably looking at about 2, at most 3 weeks. He goes, there you have it. You have 2 weeks.
I look over at Luke and raise my eyebrows questioningly.
Shall we say 3 weeks?
And he looks at Nenya, and then he goes, they have been nothing but a boon to this, to Falkreath ever since they arrived, sir. So seeing as Nenya's helping you out, make a persuasion check with advantage.
Luke? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's that. And okay, so that would be persuasion is charisma. That would be 11.
I'm afraid that with the power that the Queen Bee holds, she could quite easily get somebody out here much faster than even 2 weeks.
House is going to just sort of sidle over quietly and just whisper to Luke, one of us can run back to Falkreath if we have to.
And I nod, recognizing I had the same thought. Yes.
Okay. So I look up at the Jarl and say, you have a deal, Jarl Siggeir.
You know what? I like you. You're not afraid to get your hands dirty. He goes, He goes, right, well, if you need to, the whole of Fall Creek is at your disposal. And he goes, and I believe, and he looks over to Nenya, and he goes, oh, yes. And she goes, Lord wanted, if let us know that if you were back in town, he would like to speak with you. You had a moment. But he goes, yes. And he goes, the Fall Creek is at your disposal. I need this done as quickly as possible. Thank you for helping out the Greek for hold Fall Creek and good day.
All right. So we'll back out.
Yep.
Okay, so you all head outside of the and as you're leaving out, you just hear a very soft, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. As you're heading towards the door from Nenya's direct. And you all head out the door.
Hey guys, did you have fun in there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a real party, that guy.
Sweet. What are we doing? Let's go.
We have some business to take care of here in town first.
Yeah,
So
we
what would
need
you
to
guys-
stop by the blacksmith. Do you have anything you need from the blacksmith body?
Oh my god, guys, I have the best bow. It's been, really good to us, but I should probably upgrade, shouldn't I? Let's see if we can find a better bow for body.
Are we going to head out today, or are we? What are we doing here?
Maybe we could get our affairs in order, and that's a good point.
Yep.
It's a good milestone, maybe.
Hey, body, did you find any nightshade?
Hey, you know what, guys? I found what used to be nightshade at one point, but all the blooms were picked off the top. Very strange.
So yeah, when Body relays that, I ask her to show me what she found, and first of all, try to understand what might have happened. Like, did somebody just come in and pick it all, or is there something else going on? And I also look for any other blooms that might have been missed by whatever plucked all the others.
You head over to there and make so perception check, and because you know what you're looking for, yes, it does look that the bottom part of the plants that have had all the blooms cut off, you look definitely nightshade. But can you roll an investigation check to see if you can find any that haven't been?
Yeah, not so good. Yeah, only a 9.
Would Mouse know what nightshade looks like?
Yes, you would. But no, you don't find any intact, I'm afraid, Luke, as you're looking around. You are getting some very curious looks as you look down. You do see Koost, who's standing outside the front of the Hall of the Dead, and he seems to be giving you some rather strange looks as you're going from gravestone to gravestone, walking through the cemetery.
Mouse is going to just go over to him and say, Koost, have you seen people harvesting nightshade recently?
No, but when they I first noticed it was gone, it was when we caught that feller that's up in the was up in the prison, that disease came.
Okay. But
So speaking of disease, so this whole 3 days. So how many days from Helgen to Fall Creek? 3?
I think it was 3.
4. Yeah, it took 3 days, but like nearly 4 days because you went all the way through to the late evening of the
Yeah, 3
day.
nights, 4 days. Yeah.
Okay, so this whole time as I've been giving Lenny his daily dose of skooma from the skooma stash, I've been examining his black veiny infection or whatever. Has it gotten worse? Is it the same? How does it look?
Roll a medicine check.
All right. Ooh, that's quite good. 24.
24. Yeah, it hasn't increased. It hasn't moved. If anything, it's kind of slightly receded. With because you know about medicines and sort of like, you know, if you're gonna have something to be and how to sort of like, and with the bless spell as well, sort of like, you know, it doesn't do anything, but it just helps it out as it sort of like as he's taking it, makes him feel a little bit better, and you get him to take the dose at the same time every day. It seems to actually be helping even more.
Okay, that's exactly what I would. Especially now that we're in Falkreath and we've gotten rid of Broto, my full attention is focused on care and trying to take care of Lenny as best as possible. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to spend the rest of the day and the evening here.
Yeah.
What time is it, by the way?
You're probably about 5 maybe in the afternoon or the evening, whatever you'd like to call it. If you wanted to catch Lod, then they'd probably get over there in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, we definitely need to go to Lod. So how much, pardon my asking sideline here, how much upgrading can we do with Lod with our own weapons and so on?
Lod is just a basic blacksmith, so unless he makes all Nord stuff, so it's all steel.
Mm-hmm.
The only way he would get something in is if he bought it from somebody else or somebody was giving it to him in trade. And seeing as the Khajiit traders haven't been coming through in quite a long while, I think all he has, well, I know all he has is his own stuff that he's made himself.
Okay.
And there's nobody that does serious enchanting in Falkreath. So,
all right. No, I wasn't looking for enchanted gear. I would like to buy some arrows. I'd like to do some shopping, actually. Mouse would like to do a little bit of shopping, not just with Lod, but down at the general store there.
Sure. Are you guys all heading off to Lod first? What would you all of you like to do?
I'll go shopping. That sounds nice.
Well, I'm gonna. Mouse is going to just head to the general store because he knows the store will carry arrows as well. He's not that interested in Lod as much as Bati is and others. And Mouse has. If we're going to spend the evening here, Mouse has an agenda.
Okay. So who's heading to Lod?
I'll go to Lod.
I visited with Lod. I upgraded to the Warhammer last time we were here, so I will. I'll take Lenil over to the inn and just keep him company for the night and try to make his night as easy as possible.
And I will say to all of the group, I will see you in the morning.
So he heads off away from the cemetery and he lets you know that he's going to see you all in the morning. And Bati, you head over to Lod at the gate. And Jaquai?
I'll go with Body to keep her on track.
So you
likes to go off on tangents.
Yeah.
So you make your way across town up at the cemetery and head across, and you pass the goat and the tree stump, and walk up, and Lod is there, and he's just working, cleaning off his armor table, sort of like, you know, shoring up things on it. He's not seem to be working on any weapon or anything like that at this moment in time. He looks over and he sees you coming in, and he goes, that's what you. It's just well, not exactly the people I wanted to see, but close enough. Is your big friend with you?
He's around.
Yeah. He goes, well, I kind of wanted to speak to him. Actually, I wanted to speak to you. What can I do for you anyway?
Oh, it doesn't look like you're slammed too hard, too busy these days. I was thinking maybe if you're interested in maybe doing a little trade work, maybe me upgrading my bow a little bit. I've got this old bow I found out in the field. Are you interested?
You want to fix that up, or what?
I'm probably going to upgrade, but I don't know if I want to carry this one around. Would you like this help any with the trade value?
No, I got plenty of firewood. That's fine. He
True.
goes, I've got some nice spring steel bows here for you, if you're interested. Nice short
yes,
bow. Well, I've made this one kind of lighter than I usually make. It suits well for somebody of your stature.
Well, great. I'd love to take a look at it if you don't mind.
He goes, and this is definitely fortuitous. He goes, well, nice short bow. It's going to cost you 25 gold pieces.
That is too steep for me personally. I better.
Yeah, Luke's got all the money.
Not all of it.
No. We. It's party. If anybody needs their share, it's we're not hoarding. It's.
Yeah, but she doesn't have any right there. She's looking at her pouch. I'm not sure what you had. He divvied some out. You did start off with 10 gold pieces, but you sold. You used some sort of buying food and stuff like that. You didn't actually spend. Actually, yeah, you didn't spend any money. You didn't spend any money in the inn. So no, you didn't spend any money buying that. So you still have all your full 10 gold. From when you arrived in Skyrim, like the last of your savings that you travel with you, and then whatever got divvied up. I'm sure you divvied up some the last time, so everybody got an equal share. I can't remember how much that was, Luke.
Let's see.
I have myself marked down for from divvied up shares up to 42. I think I have.
Oh, right. Yeah, so because you've got like 200 gold.
We should have a couple hundred among the party, plus 50 from.
Mouse has his own stash of things too. So
we should have probably looks like, let's see, 44, 126. Yeah, looks like we've got like 200 at least among the party. So split 4 ways. That's at least 50 each.
Yeah, so you got about 50 gold on you.
Sounds good. Well, yeah, why not? I'll buy a new bow. That sounds good.
He goes,
Before you buy it, Body, you should try it out first.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go test it out. Can I take her for a test, a test spin?
He goes, sure. He goes, he goes, if you come out here and he leads it back, he doesn't take you outside the shop. You just walk to the back of the forge and you're still under the hood. And as you look out to the back, there actually is a couple of targets right at the back, just across the back one leading up into the forest. So it's got a nice back line of a bit of the hill of the mountain, and then above it there's trees, and then further back. So you got a nice target. And he goes, yeah, go for it.
Great. Gonna spot me some arrows or what?
And he goes, funny you should mention that. And he goes, kind of why I wanted to speak to your big friend too as well. And he goes, He goes, I'm not sure you know this, but I used to be the I don't know, the house car or whatever to the old Jarl here. He goes, Falkreath is my home. And he goes, and you guys helped out my home. So I got to working, and with some help of Nenya, I kind of put these together. But don't go using these at no stupid target. And he hands you 10 silver-treated arrows.
Nice.
And those are, if you are fighting a creature or something that is immune to or resistant to non-magical effects, if it's silver treated, then you can do damage to like things like ghosts and things like that with silver weapons. So he passes you over 10, and he goes, "Don't shoot that at anything, like normal, but with that undead you came up against and that sort of thing." And he goes, "You ever find yourself in a situation that should help a lot?" According to Nenya and Runil down there, he said, "This will be most effectual."
That is so kind of you. And Body sits and off the top of her head whips out the lute and improvs an amazing song, The Lovely Laud.
Roll a performance check. The Lovely Laud.
Okay, let's see. Performance +3. And a 15 + 3 is 18. He liked it.
Nice.
Yeah, he loved that. he goes. It gets actually a little rosy in the cheeks there as he starts getting a little bit embarrassed. And he goes, "Yes, it's been quite some time I heard a beautiful woman sing." And he goes, "Thank you for that." He goes, "And your big friend, he, speaking of which, he left this behind, and I thought at the time that it wouldn't be worth much, but after working on it for a bit," and he hands you a mace, the same mace that Luke gave him, but it's been now treated with silver. So now this is also a silvered weapon.
That's amazing.
He goes, "Don't look at me." And he goes, "Nenya gave me the supplies, and Runel told me exactly how it's supposed to do. I just did the work. I wasn't working on much anyway." And he goes, "But that's it. That's all you're getting now." He goes, "But as I said, this is my home, and you helped my home. So thank you for that."
Well, brilliant, sir. You've helped us more than you know.
So Jaquai takes a quick look at his claws and says, "How hot is that silver when it's melted?"
He does do that big barrel laugh. He's sort of like, he goes, "From what I saw out there," and he goes, "Boy, you don't need it." And he sort of like gives you a whack across the shoulder.
Yeah, well, thank you, sir. And I am looking for a sewing needle. Do you happen to have one?
No, not unless you want to throw it at something. I got a javelin you could try. You want to try javelin? Because otherwise,
I got these two big cuts in my robe. I need to get fixed.
And he goes, "From what I hear, you've got you can go and see your good friend Solaf."
Oh, really? The added ventilation is quite comforting.
Go faster, right? So, while you guys are finishing up there, what are you currently doing, Mouse?
Mouse is walking past the smithy heading towards Grave Concoctions, and he's going to stop in there. And since he has several things that he's collected and not necessarily shared, including an amethyst, 2 tiger eyes, and a turquoise, which together are worth about 130 gold. He'd like to spend some of that. One thing he'd like to buy is from Grave Concoctions is a vial of acid, which is 25 gold. He'd also like to buy a vial of antitoxin, which is 50 gold. And so that's all he needs from Grave Concoctions. Then he's going to go around to Solaf. But he thinks twice on his way back by Lod. By this time, I guess Jaquai and Body are finished, and he just stops into Lod to buy 20 arrows and say hi. How you doing, Lod?
He goes, yeah, I'm all right. And he sort of like, you see his demeanor kind of change when a mouse shows up. And he goes, turns right to you, Buddy, and he goes, you can give him 1 or 2 out of that if you think it'll help, but I did make him for you. And he sort of like, points to you, Buddy. But if you remember, he only remembered you having the bow mouse. So,
yep.
So yeah, 20 hours was like what?
One gold, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all he wants from Lod. And then as Mouse walks down towards the store, he pauses for a minute and scratches his head and looks around, and he looks for Body and Jaquai, and they're still kind of occupied, and he just slips into the shadows and out through the gates.
Okay. Roll a stealth check for me, please.
One.
One.
He trips on the stone just as he's passing through the gate. Yeah.
Yeah. So he nips in and then disappears. And you see him running between those. Both of you see him running, and as he's heading towards the gate, the guy goes, "Oh, hey, Mouse!" As
Yep.
Where you going, Bo?
Mouse sort of shakes his head and just keeps walking.
You see Mouse heading out off at the gate. So what would guys? So you finish up with Lod, not unless you guys needed anything else. What would you like to do?
I think I'm ready to collect my thoughts and head to bed for the evening, probably.
So, do any of you guys mention the silver mace to Luke when you get back to the inn?
So you head back into the inn, and you and Lenny have been in there, and sort of like, you sit down and sort of like they welcome you back, and the bard is there, and he sort of like, he looks over and he goes, "Oh, you're back." I said, "Just you? Where's the rest of you?"
Well, they're doing a little shopping. They'll be back soon.
Oh, good. And sort of like, I've forgotten her name. Sorry, guys. She says, "Oh, welcome back." And she goes, "Oh, I believe it was an ale, wasn't it? And a mead." No, it was a mead, right?
A mead for me, please.
And for your friend. And he sort of like, he goes, "Oh, I'll have a milk, please."
Only the best for my friend.
So he sits down there, and then you guys come up. like a few minutes later, it hasn't been that long. It was a quick interaction. You walk back in, and you're sort of like sitting there, coming out, and you walk back in. Jaquai and Botty, you walk back in. You see Luke and Lenny sitting there. Luke's got a mead, and Luke, and he's sitting there as you walk back into the inn.
Hey, Luke, you recognize this bad boy?
You do. It's your mace that you sort of like gave up, and sort of like you're kind of like
Did Lod do this?
Custom design.
Oh, wow. That's quite brilliant. Thank you.
It's
I'll,
just
treated
a
with
little,
silver.
Little song and a dance gets you a silver treatment.
Very nice. So tomorrow on the way out of town, I'll be sure to walk by Lod's place and thank him and give a blessing to his forge for his kindness.
And as you're sitting there, and sort of like a few minutes go past, and you order drinks and that, and Delacour comes over to you, and you guys goes, "Is your other guy not here? Is he not coming?" And you notice that Mouse hasn't shown up.
Oh. I just look at Body and Jaquai. It's like, oh, what did you guys do with Mouse?
He went out the front gate for a quick smoke.
I don't know. Had to have a little behind the tree time or something.
Delacour goes, "Oh,
Is that milk?"
yeah." And you see, what's his name? Lenny grabs hold of the milk and sort of like pulls it closer to him, right up next to his chest, and he goes, "Yeah," and then sort of like drinks it down. And Delacour turns around and he goes, "Oh," that's a pity, but would you guys be interested in a song? I think you'd like it."
I'm always my
Please.
ears are always open, sir.
He goes, "Okay." Right, so he sort of like sits back and sort of like the barmaid is over, and you see that she's with that Nord that came back earlier, that you assume is her husband, and they're sitting at the back, and so like Delacour gets his his lute out and starts slowly playing, and he sort of like readies himself, and then he goes, "Our tale begins with Botty the Brave making friends with spiders in a very dark cave. So young and pretty,
Bravo.
she easily makes friends with a kitty. But watch your right, this feline can fight, ready to claw and bite, while Mouse stays out of sight. But all is all right, as the bowstring is no longer tight. And so on to Luke and Nord. Ha! And surely that's no fluke. If you get in his way, he'll thunderously rebuke. As a servant of Kine, she grants him bolts that do shine. A true hero, noble and fair, just like his glorious hair. Before Greece they came, and much to our shame, they weren't all treated the same. But when it came to a fight, they lent us their might, and fought all through the night. Now along with a reward, they get free room and board. Because now we're all sold, and if I may be so bold, any chance of a gold? And he lays out his palm in front of you.
And I clearly have to reward this. I cross his palm with gold.
He bows his head and says, "Thank you very much, sir." Puts his flute away. And I think we'll end it there. And
Awesome.
thank you
Brilliant.
very much, guys. That was an awesome session. I loved every second of it. And I'm thinking we got the times kind of right this time. So no hour and a half and then 45-minute shows. Hopefully. And I'd like thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it, because I certainly did. And actually, it doesn't even matter if you guys don't enjoy it, because I enjoy it so much. I'm going to keep on doing it, even if we stop.
And we do too.
Yeah, Colin, this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
I'd just like to say thank you to all of my players and their awesome characters, Andrew and Bocce, Luke and Pat, Pat and Jaquai, and Mouse and Victor. Guys, we're awesome, and I really enjoy playing with you. Thanks very much, guys, and see you next time.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you for downloading this edition of Skyrim 10 AD. Email the show at skyrim10ad@gmail.com. For more information, please visit asapodcasting.com, where you will find a Skyrim Addict podcast, the Fallout feed, and our Amazon link, which benefits the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Find our social media in the show notes. Thanks for listening.
Skyrim 10 AD would like to thank Tabletop Audio for the use of their music in this podcast. If you would like to find more music like this, just go to tabletopaudio.com for more information. Thank you.